Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone. I hope all of you are well. And this reading is for the Leos for this week. So let's see what shows up for the Leos. Okay. Leo, your first card is the Tower with the Chariot with, oh my goodness, Judgment. Your cards are really making a statement this week. Really making a statement. Because you got all major arcana cards and you got the big major arcana cards, like in my opinion, like the ones that really magnify situations, and it's almost like if you don't either have some kind of breakthrough coming into your life or some kind of significant change, I mean big changes going on at this time, then I don't know what these cards are talking about, because that is like what I'm really sensing from your cards. Like you're going through some really major shifts, and this might not always be shifts in terms of like seeing everything in the physical form. Sometimes shifts take place, on a spiritual level. And on a spiritual level, the shift itself can feel very subtle, but it can make such a big impact in the way you view things, or the way you continue on your life, or the way you just navigate in the world. So, obviously for different people, it can look different, depending on the circumstances. But the Tower, it represents big things happening in terms of really big breakdowns, breakthroughs, really significant changes. And it's like whatever it breaks down, it establishes space for something different, something new, a new way of thinking, a new way of working and building, whatever structure has been broken down. And so I feel like this is a good time to really embrace change. That's what I would say, Leo. If you're the kind of Leo that, may not like so much change and stuff like that, I would say this week is telling you you need to embrace what the universe has in store for you. Because I feel like where the universe is concerned, it's always easier for you to go with the flow of things than to build up resistance. And I think that if you build up resistance with these cards showing up, you're going to find it extremely uncomfortable and extremely difficult dealing with certain changes that you're going through. Because the Chariot is saying that you're not the one in control, unfortunately, Leo. It's like the universe is just making things happen and you kind of have to go along with the ride. Yes, where the destination that you're going to reach is going to be a good one. It's going to be in a better place than where you were, but the ride there may be very bumpy and maybe unpredictable, and you may feel torn in two different directions, which also can be represented by the Chariot as well. But either way, you will end up being able to get through it, and you'll be a different person by the end of it. And I think that's the purpose of all of this, because the Judgment card is showing that this is definitely a rebirth time for you. You're going through a rebirth. You're going through a transformation. And so for some of you guys, like I said, this could manifest as a physical change, but it also can manifest as an internal change. And it's like whatever you're going through, it's definitely showing that the old self is having to be released, really, for the new self to really stand up and to show itself and present itself in a greater form than what it was. And so altogether, like just looking at your cards in more of like a basic way, the Judgment card can also mean something like even good news coming through for you, or news that changes everything for you as well. So if some of you guys have been dealing with maybe even traumatic events with the Tower happening, if some of you guys have gone through some really challenging times, difficulties in terms of maybe, again, feeling like everything is shifting and it just feels very sudden, the Chariot is kind of saying that help will be on the way. That's what I feel with the Chariot. Like help will be on the way. And whatever help actually comes to you, it's going to be the deciding factor in your life right now. The help that comes your way. It will change the momentum of everything. But at the same time, I think it's going to change it in a really positive way. And it's like your cards are really saying that this is your destiny. This is a part of what life has in store for you. And so it's like the universe is knocking at the door and you have to answer it, Leo. Basically, you can't just decide to pretend you're not home. because the universe knows you're hiding in there. And so it's like it's asking you, well, not even asking, it's telling you that you have to be ready. You have to be ready for the transformations, for the changes, for all this stuff that is going on. It's gonna feel like a lot is going on, but at the same time, it's like it's all for a greater purpose. I almost feel like all this transition almost has like a karmic feel to it, and the karmic thing is not bad. It just means again that this is another shift that you have to go through. But shifts are always positive because it makes you a bit more mature, it makes you a bit wiser, it gives you greater understanding about life, about things, makes you a bit more experienced, all of that stuff. And I think all of those things you're gonna start feeling even more of, or seeing even more within yourself. So yes, and your shadow card is the Knight of Swords, and I'm smiling because it's saying the same thing I've just been saying. It's confirming it. It's basically saying that this is going to be like you fighting the challenges, you really showing up and proving yourself, you really not running away, but being brave enough to face some maybe really challenging things, really difficult circumstances. But again, it's like you have it in you to do that. You know what you have to do. It's either fight or flight. And I kind of feel like you're not going to run away. You're going to really show up to the fight. So, yes. Peace and many blessings to you, Leo. I'll be seeing you. Bye.